Hispanic and Latino Americans. Origin can be viewed as the ancestry, nationality group, lineage or country of birth of the person or the person's parents or ancestors before their arrival. In the United States of America, people who identify as Spanish or Hispanic may be of any race. As one of the only two specifically designated categories of ethnicity in the United States, Hispanics form a pan-ethnicity incorporating a diversity of interrelated cultural and linguistic heritages. Most Hispanic Americans are of Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Salvadoran, Dominican, Guatemalan or Colombian origin. The predominant origin of regional Hispanic populations varies widely in different locations across the country. Hispanics are the second fastest growing ethnic group by percentage growth in the United States. After Asian Americans, Hispanics of indigenous descent and Native Americans are the oldest ethnic groups to inhabit much of what is today the United States. Spain colonized large areas of what is today the American Southwest and West Coast, as well as Florida. Its holdings included present-day California, New Mexico, Nevada, Arizona and Texas, all of which were part of the Viceroyalty of New Spain based in Mexico City. Later, this vast territory became part of Mexico after its independence from Spain in 1821 and until the end of the Mexican-American War in 1848. Latino immigrants to the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area derive from a broad spectrum of Spanish-American countries. The terms Hispanic and Latino refer to an ethnicity. The U.S. Census Bureau defines being Hispanic as an ethnicity, rather than a race, and thus people of this group may be of any race. In a 2015 national survey of self-identified Hispanics, 56% said that being Hispanic is part of both their racial and ethnic background, while smaller numbers considered it part of their ethnic background only and Native American ancestry. Others may have European, Middle Eastern, or Asian ancestry as well as of Amerindian ancestry. Many Hispanics from the Caribbean, as well as other regions of Latin America where African slavery was widespread, may be of sub-Saharan African descent as well. The difference between the terms Hispanic and Latino is confusing to some. The U.S. Census Bureau equates the two terms and defines them as referring to anyone from Spain and the Spanish-speaking countries of the Americas. After the Mexican-American War concluded in 1848, term Hispanic or Spanish-American was primarily used to describe the Hispanos of New Mexico within the American Southwest. The 1970 United States Census controversially broadened the definition to a person of Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican, South or Central American, or other Spanish culture or origin, regardless of race. This is now the common formal and colloquial definition of the term within the United States. Outside of New Mexico, this definition is consistent with the 21st century usage by the U.S. Census Bureau and OMB, as the two agencies use both terms Hispanic and Latino interchangeably. Latino is a condensed form of the term Latinoamericano, the Spanish word for Latin American, or someone who comes from Latin America. The term Latino has developed a number of definitions. This definition, as male Latin American inhabitant of the United States, is the oldest and the original definition used in the United States. First used in 1946. Under this definition, a Mexican American or Puerto Rican, for example, is both a Hispanic and a Latino. A Brazilian American is also a Latino by this definition, which includes those of Portuguese-speaking origin from Latin America. Preference of use between the terms among Hispanics and Latinos in the United States often depends on where users of the respective terms reside. Those in the eastern United States tend to prefer the term Hispanic, whereas those in the West tend to prefer Latino. The U.S. ethnic designation Latino is abstracted from the longer form Latinoamericano. The element Latino is actually an indeclinable compositional form in O that is employed to coin compounded formations. The term Latins. Some have pointed out that the term Latino refers to a pan-ethnic identity, one that spans a range of races, national origins, and linguistic backgrounds. Terms like Hispanic and Latino do not fully capture how we see ourselves, says Geraldo Cadaver, an associate professor of history and Latina and Latino studies at Northwestern University. According to 2017 American Community Survey data, a small minority of immigrants from Brazil self-identify as Hispanic. Spanish explorers were pioneers in the territory of the present-day United States. The first confirmed European landing in the continental United States was by Juan Ponce de Leon, who landed in 1513 at a lush shore he christened La Florida. In the next 3 decades, the Spanish became the first Europeans to reach the Appalachian Mountains, the Mississippi River, the